got some Wayne Dyer on the audiobook. Listen.
And then to bring this point home to you, Saint Germain offers you these encouraging words regarding your own ability to have the I Am commanding presence work for your perfect health.
Yeah.
The idea of having a quiet mind. When I first started practicing meditating, which I encourage people to do, not from any Far Eastern guru loincloth kind of thing at all, but as a way of understanding that there's another dimension. If I were to take you, the listener, and to put you in chains, and to put you in a dungeon, and to deny you light and human contact for the rest of your life.
You're cool, right? You're good? You're good?
Oh, yeah.
You would probably say to yourself, this is the end. I mean, this is it. I can't handle this. There are some people, believe it or not, among us, who, if you were to do that very same thing, would say, this is a beginning. There's a whole world there. If any of us were forced to learn how to go into that world, we would discover many, many, many things about ourselves. And I'm talking about the world of the mind. It's not an accident that all of the great spiritual masters have encouraged a kind of meditation of one kind or another, and that most advanced people, most awakened people, practice it on a regular basis. It's not an accident.
It's not an accident. It's not an accident.
See, when you're trimming arborvitaes, you're only ever taking a nickel off. You don't want to go too deep on the shrub. And the blade should always be in contact with the shrub, because only about this much of the blade is touching the shrub at all times. So you get everything at once. See?
You begin to discover how slimy your mind is. The thoughts that you have all the time, and how much disasterizing we do with our minds, and how much stuff that we occupy our minds with that is so unnecessary and so silly, so foolish, so destructive, that quieting our mind and meditating really go hand in hand.
Hand in hand. Hand in hand.
Now, meditating doesn't require a lot of training. It doesn't require somebody teaching you exactly how to do it or whatever, because that defeats the purpose of meditating. When you meditate, you really want to go in there and quiet your mind. And what you want to be able to do in your life is to have an open, but not a rampage going on inside of your mind, not 1,000 thoughts barraging it. And these thoughts that you have, these are yours. These are your creation. I used to tell people as a therapist, if you don't believe that you're in control of your thoughts, then I want you to tell me who is.
Alright, so check this out, guys. Trimming up this property, just the ornamental trees, not really any shrubs, except for that lilac. The big arborvitaes, 35, 45 bucks a shrub. Lifting up this pine tree here, and then lifting up and elevating those two maples. So just this stuff in the backyard, and that, I think it's like a weeping cherry or something. But anyways, just elevating the trees. 450. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more specialized.
And what it does, it's mechanical. After a while you look through the main strategies of the mind, how it tries to get your attention. So there you are again, there it is. And it's no longer your personal. The mind becomes depersonalized. Before, the mind was me. The mind and the accumulated memories that make up my personal history was me, and I walked around with the burden of me, with my unfulfilled history, unfulfilled and unfulfilling, not enough. And whatever strange thoughts were associated with that, life passed me by, life passed me by,
Life passed me by.
Unfair, it treated me unfairly. I missed it.
Whenever you're trimming shrubs, trees, anything, every few minutes step all the way back and take a look at it from a distance and see how you're doing, and then jump back in. Forest for the trees, yo. Look at that. 16-foot arborist ladder, man. That thing's so awesome. We're about to use it in a minute here. Alright, check out this lilac shrub. I'm gonna turn it to, I don't know, turn it into something great.
So what you want to do is get to that pure thought state. I close my eyes. I only have to do this for 10 or 15 minutes, and it's the equivalent of getting 8 hours of sleep, literally. And it's the most exhilarating, energy-producing, feeling like I can conquer anything, knowing that I can't be defeated attitude that just comes from peacefully quieting my mind. And if I'm giving a speech and I give a break, oftentimes I will just go back into a room and re-energize myself. And it's literally like getting a full night's sleep, only I'm more energized, because oftentimes you're groggy after sleeping for so long. And it's really just closing my eyes and creating like a pastel field. And my mind can create any color that I want, which is just so astounding. You think you need your eyes to create it, and you don't at all. And I create that field. In my mind, I put a barrier around that field, and I won't let anything into it. And any thought that tries to penetrate that barrier, sort of bounces back, and it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to get yourself like totally relaxed. Now, I don't really believe that anybody can just not think at all. I think that's part of the trap. It's part of the human condition that thinking always goes on. Even thinking about not thinking is still thinking. But you don't have extraneous thoughts. You get like single-minded. And this is wonderful, wonderful training for anyone. So it's like as you do that and you just won't let a thought in, and you won't let a thought in, and you won't let a thought in, you become very, very, very relaxed. And then you can create whatever you want. I create a light. It's like a white light, a spotlight way off in the distance in my mind. And I approach it. I just keep coming closer and closer and closer to it with this pastel field, keeping any thoughts from bombarding it. It's amazing how at the beginning, when you first start this, how it's hard to go 5 seconds. 5 seconds without having some kind of thought impinging. Boom, all of a sudden you catch yourself doing that. Then you get to 10 seconds, you get to 30 seconds, and before long, you can do a couple of minutes. And as I move and move towards the light, for many years, I was afraid of the light. I would get close to it, and I knew that if I went into it, that something was going to happen that I didn't know. And so I'd always sort of approach it, and then I'd come back. And then I allowed myself just to go through it. I just surrendered to it. I thought, I can handle it. I created miracles in that space for myself. And in the world that I came back to when I left the meditation as well. I do that on a regular basis. The result, the peacefulness, the harmony, the serenity, the energy that you begin to get when you just take a few minutes a day, 10 or 15 minutes a day, put yourself into a sensory deprivation kind of atmosphere, a tub of water, under a tree in a meadow, and just go into your mind and begin to see the world. And you begin to see, as I said, how slimy your mind is. how much stuff you are constantly using that you don't need to, how many bad and negative and worrying and hurtful thoughts that keep impinging on it, keep trying to break that field. You let them bounce off, you let them bounce off, you let them bounce off, and before long, it's like you're only letting harmony in. Here's what I believe any one of us can do. Any one of us can only let harmony in, can only let harmony in, can only let harmony in.
Everything you love, you lose when you lose the love. Hear that?
So, Keith here is shooting.
They don't want to see me, they want to see what's happening.
Okay. What does that do inside you? It frees you from the form that this moment takes. If you react to the form that this moment takes, another form is created in you as a thought or an emotion that strengthens your being lost in form. And that's why the ego likes to react, because the ego is the form me. If you do not react, respond is a different matter to whatever is needed in this moment. But your habitual state becomes allowing whatever form this moment takes to be. Then, if action is needed, it comes out of that state of intelligence, which is allowing the now to be, allowing life to be, becoming one with life, which is now, can only be now, one with life.
2 out of 3 extensions on the Arborist ladder.
Then life lives through you. And life is intelligent. So when you do not resist the form that this moment takes, but you allow whatever form this moment takes, as the temperature in your room or the stain on the carpet, or even forms that before you would have complained about. It is, you can't dispute the fact that it is right now. So
That's so unbelievably heavy and takes so much physical body strength you can't even imagine, and so much balance that I only did a little bit there. It takes probably an entire month of doing it so you could do it, and that's my first time on the Arborist ladder with the trimmers so far this year. And then by midsummer, just flying up and down it for hours on end, it's exhausting. It's grueling. That's how hard it is. Maybe not as hard as roofing, if you ever tried roofing. But yeah, it's a way to do it, man. You don't need a big spider lift.
in the most powerful spiritual practice is that allowing, in the allowing, you do not strengthen your own form anymore. That's why the ego doesn't like that. That's why the ego doesn't like that.
Look at this. Right in the middle of a Michigan subdivision, there's a deer in the middle of the night in someone's yard.
Dude, deer are everywhere around here. Because they know they're not going to get shot.